Robert A. Glover, No More Mr. Nice Guy. Welcome to the summary of No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert A. Glover. This transformative book explores the concept of nice guy syndrome, which is characterized by men who take on excessive self-sacrificial behavior and struggle with expressing their true emotions. Glover asserts that this can lead to manipulation, dishonesty, and passive aggressiveness. The purpose of this book is to help men recover from this syndrome and work towards becoming integrated, accepting their perfect imperfection while embracing their uniqueness, assertiveness, and courage. Learn about the causes of nice guy syndrome, the importance of setting boundaries, and developing personal power in order to reclaim one's masculinity.
The not-so-nice guys. Have you ever considered yourself a nice guy? This book explains that being a nice guy goes beyond the usual traits of a considerate individual. They often exhibit manipulative, controlling, and passive-aggressive behavior, making it difficult for them to set boundaries. Recovery from nice guy syndrome does not mean becoming the opposite but becoming integrated, accepting yourself and taking responsibility for your needs. Seeking help from safe people is crucial, but starting with other men instead of women is recommended since nice guys often seek women's approval. Learn how to break free from nice guy syndrome and embrace your perfect imperfection. Toxic shame and the birth of nice guys. Nice guys develop a coping mechanism to hide their flaws and seek approval due to toxic shame that originates from childhood experiences of abandonment. Glover explains the root cause of nice guy syndrome, where they don't feel safe or accepted to be themselves, leading to unrealistic expectations, unmet needs, and a great but not trouble-free life. Glover highlights that toxic shame is a psychological state that emerges when babies and young children feel abandoned due to hunger, neglect, anger, or shame from parents. They blame themselves for the painful experience, assuming that something's inherently wrong with them, generating the coping mechanism of becoming what they believe others want them to be, seeking validation in return. The author points out that this coping mechanism is counterproductive, leading to a vicious cycle of unmet needs, unrealistic expectations, and a great deal of hidden resentment. To overcome toxic shame and nice guy syndrome, Glover suggests various techniques that we can adopt in daily life. The road to recovery for nice guys. Nice guys seek external validation due to toxic shame, resulting in indirect and manipulative behaviors. They can recover by seeking self-approval, self-care, and alone time to discover themselves. Nice guys can learn to prioritize their own needs and benefit everyone around them. The book summarized the struggle of nice guys who have difficulty believing that they can be liked as they are and often seek approval for everything they do. This behavior stems from their toxic shame developed in childhood and their needs were not met promptly, leading them to consider their needs bad and that people abandoned or hurt them because of them. To appear low maintenance, nice guys develop survival mechanisms that made them unspokenly manipulate and control people's behavior to obtain their needs indirectly. They make it difficult for others to give to them, connect with needy people, and revert to covert contracts. The book suggests 3 things that nice guys can do to begin their road to recovery. Firstly, nice guys should stop seeking external validation and seek approval only from themselves by asking what they want, what feels right and makes them happy. Secondly, they should take good care of themselves by exercising more, consuming healthy food, and having sufficient sleep. Thirdly, they should have some regular alone time to discover themselves and practice taking responsibility for their own needs. By prioritizing their needs, nice guys can benefit themselves and, surprisingly, everyone around them. Reclaiming personal power and masculinity. In No More Mr. Nice Guy, Dr. Robert Glover emphasizes that personal power is within everyone's grasp. The power to confront challenges and difficulties lies within us all, and we must embrace it fearlessly. Here are 6 steps to take. First, surrender control over things we cannot manage. Second, avoid notions about people and circumstances that aren't grounded in reality. Third, acknowledge and welcome our emotions positively. To be in touch with our feelings is to be assertive and energized. Fourth, face our fears head-on because we have the strength to handle them. Fifth, build our moral character based solely on our convictions. Last but not least, set reasonable boundaries to protect our space and assert ourselves. Dr. Glover also notes a recent societal trend, positioning masculinity's adverse traits above its favorable characteristics. Men have become extremely passive, disconnected, and dependent on women's recognition. As Dr. Glover argues, one could only get their testicles back by redefining and reconnecting with healthy masculine traits. To achieve this, Dr. Glover recommends: first, join male groups, participate in activities like sports, volunteer work, etc. Second, build physical strength through exercise. Third, seeking out positive male role models whose traits we admire, and incorporate them into our lives. By applying these steps, we can not only regain our personal power and masculinity but also embark on a journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and a healthy approach to life. Winning at love. Love can be complicated, but there are ways to ensure it lasts. Start by approving of yourself and setting boundaries in your relationship. If you're single, try something different in your search for a partner. Don't rush into sex before you really get to know someone, and don't settle for bad sex. Overcome your fears and shame about sex by talking openly about it and exploring your own pleasure. Finally, take pride in yourself and be the best version of you to attract the right partner.
In conclusion, No More Mr. Nice Guy serves as a guide for men to break free from the shackles of nice guy syndrome and embrace a more authentic and integrated version of themselves. Recovering from this syndrome entails understanding its origins in childhood, overcoming toxic shame, and learning to set boundaries. This process also includes developing personal power by surrendering, expressing and embracing feelings, facing fears, and connecting with one's masculinity. With the aim to foster stronger relationships and achieve fulfilling lives, Glover's insightful book can provide the necessary tools and support for men seeking to break free from the detrimental effects of nice guy syndrome.